Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey, episode 346. We are back on the air, live in your ear holes for your pleasure. Chris, how you doing?
Brought to you by Ruby Tracks.
Yes, I was just going to get into this whole thing. 7-year anniversary we're celebrating. And yes, we are in the Ruby Tracks studio. Thank you, Scott and Nick from Ruby Tracks. And you'll get a couple shout outs this episode. But cheers, my friend. 7 years, we're still doing it. Barely making it happen.
Cheers. What are you drinking? You look like you're drinking whiskey.
I am drinking whiskey. I've got some Old Elk wheated bourbon. There are several bottles on my shelves, unfortunately, that have one, maybe 1.5 pours left in them. And sadly, this is one of the bottles. And I remember how good this was. And I saw it the other day, and I'm like, man, I've been hanging on to it. And I'm like, you know what? 7 years of podcasting, I'm going to kill this bottle tonight. So there it is.
That's extremely. I'm drinking some Cabernet Sauvignon out of a box.
Out of a box. All right. So that's a 2025 or 26 vintage. What
actually hasn't been born. It hasn't been born yet.
Hasn't even been born yet. It's a no date, no label. Sorry. Thanks for playing.
But the other night I drank my mom was here for dinner on Sunday night, and I opened a bottle of Bent Creek Cabernet Sauvignon 2017. It was really, really good.
Nice.
So that was I finished that bottle last night because my mom. I don't treat my mom to that stuff because she has some health issues.
Nice, don't we all? And just a quick segue. That's why we've been missing. There's been some health shit going on. I'm going through some shit. Chris is going through some shit, but we're still alive. Can't kill us yet, and just bear with us. So, I think moving forward, we're with our crazy schedules and living as far apart as we are, we talked about a set day and time of the week, right?
Yes, sir.
So that may move our episode drop from Tuesday morning to it might be Thursday or Friday morning now. We'll have to see. We're in talks of that, but bear with us. Don't jump over to the Snail Trail podcast yet, because it's not gonna end well for you. So
we know you still love us, so
hang out with us, and we'll still provide the quality content that you've come to love here from Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey. And we're changing. We're in a little change mode here. We're like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly.
We're evolving.
Yeah.
Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
That's what a caterpillar does, right? Metamorphosize. Is that a word? I don't even know.
It is now.
Great stuff. Yeah, I wish I was drinking some wheated bourbon myself. I actually have a bottle of that on my shelf.
I think you have a bottle that hasn't even been opened.
No, the wheated's been open. I do have several Old Elk bottles. I have a lot of bottles that haven't been opened, but it's like a museum here right now.
Well, when that one goes down, which is going to happen here shortly, I got another bottle to kill here by Jack Daniels. So,
good old Jack.
Good old Jack.
Nice.
My friend Jack's gotten me through a lot of tough times. Happy times.
Well, we're going to have a bunch of happy times in this episode because we're going to reminisce a little bit about some of the stuff some of the shenanigans and jackassery that we've gotten into over the last 7 years. We've done a lot of shit. With Jason and I pre-show, we're talking about, we're scrolling through the extensive library of episodes that we've recorded and shared with our listeners. And boy, we've done some shit. Both together and individually, and it's been great.
If you're sitting at your desk right now, you got a desk job, computer job, and look up Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey. Go to our website, go to episodes, and you can scroll through all 346 episodes now. But And then there's bonus episodes in there as well. I don't know how many bonus episodes we have, but there's been over 10, 12 bonus episodes as well. So you could scroll through there, and it's quite the journey and fun times looking at that. And Chris is, has titled all the episodes, and they got some funny titles in there.
There's actually 367 episodes.
367 episodes.
Well, boom. Including this one, 368.
Okay, well, there you go. 368. I like that. Too bad it wasn't 369. Giggity, giggity. Okay. So, man, I don't know. You got stuff too. I was thinking about like episodes that stuck out in my mind before I scrolled through the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, our How to Attend KOH like Pro.
Oh, those are great.
That's been one of our more popular episodes, and it was fun. It's fun to record. We did the update this past year.
That's right.
And got it modernized with as KOH has evolved. We evolved with that one and updated some things, so that was kind of cool. And then a couple of my favorite episodes, the interview with Shannon Campbell, that was the impromptu. We talked about it 100 times on this podcast.
Oh, my God.
Classic. That one was, and it, like I say, the defining moment for me, that was like the first episode that I didn't have notes or anything to go off. I was totally free balling that episode and shitting my pants at the same time because I was talking to Shannon, motherfucking Campbell. It's cool. And then, meeting one of my heroes, Glenn Plake, and getting to know him over the years and Will with him. So that was an episode at Trail Hero that kicked it off for me. So I don't know if you got a couple episodes that stuck out to you as you were, reminiscing the past 7 years.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's just to think about the early days. One of the things we were talking about pre-show, the early days of the show, and I went back and listened to a few of them. It's like we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We were just two dudes sitting across from each other at a table, dining room table in your house.
Yeah.
Just and then obviously the pre-production stuff, and then the actual recording session. And, trying to control the noise and my breathing and all the different things that went into, the production and the actual recording of the episode. And then, having to learn basically on the fly how to edit an episode, how to make it airable and all that stuff, and all the phone conversations with Jimmy Jett from Snail Trail. And of course, Tyler Larson with Snail Trail, to understand how to post these things. I mean, there was a huge learning curve in the early days. And, some of the things that I did with the editing that I just don't do anymore. I mean, it's like we were green as green could be. We said, and a lot, and we just,
I think I still do.
Yeah, we do a little bit, but not quite as bad as back in the early days. And so, for my editing process back in the early days, I would go through, it would take me hours because I would literally listen to the entire episode from beginning to end. And I would chop out all the ums and uhs and any other little, blank spots or whatever. And it took a lot of time, and I evolved with it. And I said, you know what, as we got better, I didn't chop as much of that stuff out. So, I'd like to say that we grew. The show has grown over the last 7 years. We as presenters and speakers on this show have grown. We try to be as professional as we can. We try to be as accurate with our information as we can. And to think about, some of my favorite episodes, and the people that we've landed on the show. You already mentioned Shannon Campbell, me walking into his camp and say, hey, just, I was kind of a rogue, just a lone, I don't know what the word I'm looking for right now, but a renegade. We just walk into people's camps in the pits and at Hammers and just try to make stuff happen. We also did things through the, more normal channels, like, thinking about, other racers at King of the Hammers, like Levi Shirley, when we landed that interview with him and his wife, Miranda. Lovely couple, great racing family, awesome camp, awesome pit, wonderful location, that giant military style inflatable tent that we recorded in. That was a year it was cold at Hammers, and we were in a heated tent with them, and it was great. Thinking about other people that obviously we've recorded our highs and lows in our lives. I know in the early days of the show, I think it's episode 5, or I got into that bad wreck coming home from work one day.
That's right.
And wrecked my truck and, wrecked my body to a certain degree. And then of course we've had the high points, like interviewing some of the best racers in the Ultra 4 world, Levi Shirley, and then some of the personalities that we've recorded that, sit in front of microphones just like we do, like Ian Johnson and Miles Hasselquist. Those are both high points in my recording career. And the fact that both of those gentlemen have sat in my camper while we recorded, that's pretty special. Those are super special memories for me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You pretty much covered everything that I had to talk about. No, I want to go back to, because it's been said before, but you do the heavy lifting of the editing. You enjoy it, but your editing skills, and you're always keeping on the bleeding edge, as we like to say. You're using AI now and some of this newer software to help edit the episodes. So, it's interesting to hear you talk about from, when you first started and not knowing how to even publish a fucking episode to now where
that's right.
It's you got AI that's helping you create, descriptions of the episode, and it'll even help you edit and stuff, and these tools that have evolved. It's crazy. So it's I want to go back and listen to just for a brief second the sound quality and stuff back in the early episodes to now, and that'd be interesting to see.
Well, some of the software changes that have occurred. I mean, in the early days, we used Audacity, which is a free, and I still do use it sometimes, but it's a freeware, basically. You can donate and support their cause. But we subscribe and use Adobe Auditions, or I use it for the most part exclusively to edit the podcast. It's a much more powerful software package. I know that Jimmy Jet uses it with Snail Trail.
Right.
A lot of great tools, a lot of great sound processing tools on it. And we've had some episodes over the years that have had some pretty, big sound quality problems that I've had to work through. And, fortunately the listeners don't really hear it because I do a lot of work on the post-production side to make sure that
right.
you don't experience any problems. But, I do know that there's been a few episodes where the audio has been way out of whack, and I've been able to use tools on these software programs to make them, sound normal.
Yeah, save it. I think in all the years we've only lost one episode.
I think that's correct. It's
one episode is pretty good. I forgot to hit the record button a couple times. Had to restart. One was Glenn Plake because I was fanboying out, I guess. But luckily we're able to restart that one. But some of them, it's been like a brief, like, oh, hang on, I'm not recording. Let's start over. Catch it early. I make that mistake once. And
hopefully just once.
Yeah.
So some of the other episodes that I think that, were super cool. I mean, we've done some cool stuff. We recorded an episode while we were driving from Jason and I were on a road trip in his truck, his F-350. We went up to almost above Auburn to pick up some stickies.
That's right.
For your Jeep.
Stickies for my Jeep, BFG stickies, yeah.
And we were on the way. We were heading from there to Lodi to do a meetup with the Snail Boys.
That's right.
And it was right around my birthday, I think, because what's his name from Gear Wrench was there, and there were anyway, Corey.
Gear Wrench Corey, right?
But I remember setting up the recording equipment in your truck while we're barreling down 99, and you had your microphone strapped to your sun visor.
That's right. That's right. Audio was a little rough on that one, but
a little bit.
That was before Starlink.
Before, yeah, absolutely. So, and then another huge episode that sticks out for me was when we were, I'm not sure what the number is. I'm scrolling through here, but it was you, me, Jimmy Jett, and Kevin Jones were sitting at the bottom of the stair step in Hollister Hills.
Episode 175.
Episode 175.
Wrote that down.
And that was a great episode because we were all together doing safety clinic with our off-road club. And I tell you what, if you haven't listened to episode 175, go back and listen to it.
I got to go back and listen to that one.
That's a fun one. But Jimmy Jett and Kevin Jones. Kevin Jones is no stranger to our podcast. I believe he was our first ever interview.
It was the first interview.
And you and I had road tripped up to Wild West Off-Road Park outside of Reno to do that
race in that place. That was awesome.
But we met up with him and we went out to your camper in the parking lot and we recorded that episode. Even though he was physically the first episode we record or first interview we ever did, the first interview that ever aired was with Arturo Soria.
Really? Because we were editing something.
I think it's just the way things were timed out. It's just interesting. But Arturo's episode dropped before Kevin Jones' episode.
Interesting. How great is that? A little fun fact there. And then Kevin Jones became more than just a friend of the podcast, a friend of ours, and
absolutely
done trips with him and such, and that's great. And then of course, Amber Slauson, we don't know. We don't have the exact numbers here, but between Kevin and Amber, both of them have been on our podcast numerous times. And back when she started as Amber Turner and now Amber Slauson.
We're working on a grudge match. We're going to duke it out. We're going to, what's that, a cage fight?
And we need to have Lorenzo. Can you get on that or do something today? That would be great. Appreciate that.
Speaking of Lorenzo, you remember when he got kidnapped? He doesn't want to remember that, does he?
He ran out of the room.
Donkey nabbed.
Oh, he's shaking his head at you right now because that was bad times.
Doesn't want to relive that?
No. He had a hell of a time, though. Oh, yeah. He's shaking his tail there. He says that's a good one. But it was a little scary. See what happens when you fuck around and find out, Lorenzo?
Donkey nap from your camper at King of the Hammers, and had quite the adventure. And then we got him back, and you can hear
9 months or something.
Man, I don't know about quite that long, about 4 months, but you can hear the whole story about his return to the show on episode 108. Lorenzo, the super producer, is back.
There it is.
Is his Instagram page still up?
Yeah. Lorenzo Freed. Lorenzo, I think it's Lorenzo.freed.
Perfect.
I'm going to look it up real quick while you're doing that. Since Lorenzo walked out, the super producer. Yep, still alive.
Oh, good.
Lorenzo.freed. He's got 252 followers.
So some other episodes that we've gone through, I mean, obviously this is called Wheeling, Wine, and Whiskey. So we do a lot of wheeling, a lot of off-roading, a lot of talking about our rigs, whether it's side-by-side rigs or Jeeps or buggies. But the other thing that we do on the show is we drink. Not while we're driving. It's always drinking after we've driven and we're back in camp. But there's been episodes where we have gotten either both of us have been over the handlebars or one or the other has gotten over the handlebars during the episode. But that's obviously something that the listeners get a kick out of sometimes, to hear us deteriorate during the episode.
Happening right now. Our blind tasting episodes have been some of the most popular, and we get the most comments on. And
absolutely,
they are 100% blind. And if you listen to any of those episodes, you know where we are tasting, and we're not tasting and spitting out because, as Chris mentioned, things go south and we deteriorate. But the tastings have been awesome. We got to try some ridiculous bourbons, whiskeys over the years. We've had listeners out there, send us samples and
That's right.
send us bottles, for a matter of fact. And, they'll meet us at KOH or other trails and stuff and hand us bottles from their favorite distillery, which is super cool. Very limited bottling stuff we got to try that's, barrel picks for certain liquor stores and establishments that, they buy one barrel and bottle it up. So there's, anywhere from 50 to 150 bottles of whiskey. And that's it. When that's gone, that's gone. That's not getting reproduced. So I've got some stuff here that we need to try, Chris, from Garrison Brothers we talked about a couple episodes ago, from Texas, our buddies in Texas that I took over the Rubicon a few years back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, the interactions and having some, in fact, today that we're recording is Taylor's birthday. That we did an episode with a Taylor up here at my house, and
that's right.
he just studies this to the nth degree. So pretty cool.
The student becomes the master.
Right. Yes, I introduced him to whiskey, and he didn't even like Bloody Marys. Now he likes Bloody Marys, and he loves whiskey. So sorry, not sorry. But yeah, getting to try all these different, it's cool. They've got stories to tell and just fun stuff. So the blind tastings have been a blast.
Well, and meeting the distillers themselves, whether it's Kate Douglas or the gentleman from Hinter House.
But Old Elk we've interacted with. Greg Metz.
One
of the
game nights.
Arguably one of the greatest distillers out there in the whiskey world. And,
that's right.
Getting to talk with him, just cool stuff. And, we've popped into some cool distilleries over the years and got some, backstage tours and get to try some cool stuff before it gets bottled and sold to the public.
That's right.
So that's cool. Okay. Kind of jumping around here, but I one other thing, another episode that sticks out is Glacier Girl.
Oh yeah.
163 with Nick Bailey talking about the rig that was left over the winter on the Rubicon.
The shipbox.
The shipbox and the recovery of that. So that was a really good one. And then our KOH shit show, which doesn't have an episode number, but that was recorded January 20th of 23.
That was dropped on January 20th of 23.
Dropped, yeah.
It was recorded a full year prior.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Boy, you got a good memory, man. That's right. Now that you mention that, it was recorded at KOH
2022.
Oh, shit. That's right.
We sat on that thing for a year because we didn't know if we should drop it or not.
So 23. So I wonder if we can, Lorenzo's back. Oh, he said he returned to us on June 9th of 21. And then that was KOH of 21 when he disappeared. So yeah I'm showing him the milk carton photo of him right now to him.
I try to think about for KOH. My memories of KOH actually, the way I remember things is where we camped those years, or where our camper location was. And that, I think 21 might have been the first year that we camped with Dolly and Eric. With that group.
We were definitely camping up there in 21. It was the first year. I'm not certain.
Because 20, I think 19 and 20, we were down below the Ultra 3 track.
Right.
And then 20, I don't remember exactly, but I do remember in 21, the year that Lorenzo was kidnapped or donkey napped, I was camped. You and I did not park close to each other. I parked further on the other side, closer to where the fence is for the fenced in area. Because I don't know.
That's right.
I was going to leave early that week. I knew I was leaving on Wednesday or Thursday because I had to get back to work. So I kind of kept myself separate so I wouldn't have any impediments getting out of camp.
Yeah, impedance.
But that's kind of how. And then after that, then the following year we were parked next or by Elvis, and you, me, Kobe, and you had Ray camping with you that year or bunking with you that year, and that's the year Ray disappeared through into the chasm of death.
we were working the hill.
Chocolate Thunder.
Chocolate Thunder, thank you. And yeah, he lost his footing and fell.
Where'd he go?
It's on I don't know. It's on the KOH highlight reel, which is great.
But yeah, we had the wagon circled, and that's the year that Kobe had the Taj Mahal park just above us, and that's the year we recorded the shit show with the Trail Chasers. And Lee Lim was there with his podcast, and then of course the Snail Boys. And there was a lot of liquor flowing that day or that night. And I think what's his name from Trail Chasers and I were the only sober people in the camper.
Yeah, and okay, so you can find this episode by going. You could go on to our website, wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. Get your merch there too, by the way. But it's in between episode 193 and 194. It's a bonus episode. It doesn't, but it's there. We can't miss it.
We trust us. It's there.
It's there, and it's a bonus episode. It's the episode that never should have aired, but it's there. And there was a lot. Well, there wasn't a lot cut from it, but there was some stuff that needed to be cut from it that was even off color for us. So
it got slashed.
We burned those tapes after we got done editing that one. But that's a good one,
Mr. President. That might not be entirely true.
Yeah, right. I did not have sexual relations. So let's see. Oh my gosh, we got to interview all three kings.
That's right. All three-time kings.
All three-time kings, and now there's only one 4-time king, which is great. So Randy Slauson, 4-time king, we've had him on here 4 or 5 times now. But we got to interview, Jason Shearer, and of course Shannon Campbell, we mentioned earlier, and Randy, and then so it was awesome to get Randy's story this year of him winning.
That's awesome. Sad I was not in the room when that was going down.
Man. I mean, just great stories, and he doesn't like to do interviews and stuff, so I'm glad to call him a friend, and he has the confidence in us to tell his story, so that's pretty cool.
For sure.
And, we developed this relationship with Amber years ago when she released her first KOH.
In a Samurai.
So it's kind of, you go down memory lane here and doodle. It's just, it's funny, when we first met, and I'm like, who's this crazy girl in a samurai racing? And we got to get her story to now she's on speed dial and we talk a lot, and, awesome fabricator in her own right. And watch her accomplishment and her growth through the Ultra 4, series here. And just wheeling. She doesn't roll over as much anymore, so that's great. So we mentioned Kevin Jones, Amber Slauson is on the podcast a lot. You've already mentioned, we've had Ian Johnson on a couple times. I got to go out and see Big Tire Garage and get that tour. That was freaking phenomenal, and that never would have happened if didn't have the podcast. Miles Hasquist, another average Joe that's become the voice of KOH, and freaking spectacular. Great genuine stories, and all these people that are involved with our podcast.
Well, you're thinking about Miles. He doesn't just walk the walk. He lives it. He gets deep into the dirt and into the nuts and bolts of Ultra 4 racing, and that's what's super cool about it. He hangs out in Hammertown during the King of the Hammers, and he talks to the drivers and hangs out in the pits and does his homework, and he knows the stuff. And it's not just King of the Hammers. He's Ultra 4. He travels. So
he's a fan first, and then got his dream job of running around to every race now and commentating. But he's taken it and made it his own by doing his
Absolutely.
homework and making all his notes, his copious notes on every driver to keep us as the fan and the listener and watcher of the videos on the YouTubes and stuff, keeping us up to date, who's doing what. And this year's KOH was got really hard after it got dark, and
they work hard. There's no doubt. I mean, and the iconic mic wrench, and a wrench mic or whatever you want to call it, and him running around in the pits. I mean, that's quite the sight to see. When, oh my God, what's his name's coming in right now? We better run over there. Yeah. So yeah, the hard work that goes on behind the scenes and in front of the camera and on the mics at King of the Hammers, and we still haven't landed the snuffleupagus, if you will, the Pam Hall interview. We really want to do that.
We'll get it. Yeah, it's fun. We're just going to have to make that happen very first thing when she hits the lake bed next year.
For sure.
Here. So, there's a lot of positives of the podcast, and we've been real, and we've talked about some of the stuff that people don't want to talk about, or it's not fun to talk about. We hit that episode with that tragedy at Moon Rocks.
Ooh.
And that was, do we publish this? Do we do this? And there was a lot of thought going on and talk behind the scenes, but the information needed to get out there because there was a lot of misinformation. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves on is we try to do our homework and get the right facts out there. So that's really what pushed me over the edge and said, let's go ahead and talk about this. You want to be upbeat. You want to listen to upbeat. There's plenty of stuff to bring you down in the world, but it needed to be talked about, and it turned out to be a really well-received episode that we did there. Another one that I'm grateful that she's turned the corner to is Suli Bunn.
Oh my God!
We've had her on the podcast a few times before.
Wonderful woman, wonderful person.
Before she got diagnosed, super strong individual, and then to hear her story and to tell her story of fighting cancer and winning and putting it into remission and continuing on with her life. Of course, it's not all roses, and that's the thing. It's like we try to be real, and all of us go through some shit. And obviously her shit's pretty bad, and she made very positive attitude. And
she's winning.
She's winning. And then keeping up to date on all the trail closures and stuff that's going on now. Interviews with the Blue Ribbon Coalition, and
that's right.
Ben Burr and Oceano Dunes, that's going on right in our backyard. Tread lightly, issues that have been happening and stuff, and keeping up to date with all that stuff. I mean, that's been pretty cool to get that information out there. So that's been a cool thing. Whew. Got a lot of notes. And I know I'm missing stuff here, but we're trying to hit the highlights. You talk.
Well, I mean, I do want to talk. I mean, there's been, the grassroots part of this whole podcast, the reason it came to be, and going back, and we've talked about this over numerous episodes. I mean, we're 346 episodes, well, more than 346, but I mean, thinking about the milestone episodes, episode 100, episode 200, episode 300, episode 100, we recorded with, back at your old house in San Jose. We had Lee Lim, we had the Snail Boys there, and you and I, we had a great dinner, and then we sat down and got hammered and recorded and just, it was great. I mean, thinking about those days, and then of course the dark days of COVID that hit, and, the weirdness that happened during that. And I think this podcast was kind of was a bright light, or a high point, for a lot of people during COVID, for us, listening to us talk and, about our adventures of off-roading and thinking, because I mean, one of the things I want to go all the way back to the very beginning, to think it's wheeling wine and whiskey. So wheeling first, right? And I know I don't wheel as much as I used to because of health issues and so on and so forth, and other obligations. But, I used to wheel a lot. And I know that you allowed me or invited me to go into Barrett Lake as a passenger in your CJ5 back in 2019, I believe it was.
1902.
1902. So we made a 3-day. I think we camped for 3 nights or 2 nights. I don't remember, but
a couple nights. Yep, couple nights.
But we wheeled in with a good group of people to Barrett Lake, and we had the campfire going. And I know Tyler from Snail Trail was there, and we were all talking around the campfire, and you kind of said, what's this podcast thing all about? And that's where the seed got planted, to make this Wheeling Wine Whiskey dream come true.
Right.
You and I were talking about it on the drive out that on the Sunday we left early and wheeled out alone, and because we had other things we needed to get to that afternoon back at home. But, to think back to those days, and then of course the COVID years and the ups and downs, and, the wheeling, whether it's been on Fordyce or Barrett Lake or Rubicon, hanging out at Meadow Lake with special friends, making new friends. One of my favorite episodes ever recorded, and we haven't mentioned them yet, but they've been on the show numerous times, is the Wicks family.
Oh yeah, no, I got them on my list. There you go.
So I want to, just give a shout out to Justin, which we met first, and then Eric and Chris. Eric is Justin's uncle, and Chris is Justin's dad. But they showed up at Meadow Lake. I don't know what year it was. It must have been 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
They came up to hang out with us. Basically, that was a banner year. We were camped at our usual camp spot, and I jumped into the right seat of Eric Wick's Trail Bomber.
Yeah.
And we ran the trail all the way down to the river, to the last river crossing committee, right?
Right.
And hung out down there a bit, and then we played on the rocks and the slabs and whatnot, and then we worked our way back up, and I experienced my first rollover with a professional Ultra 4 race car driver,
right?
in this trail. So anyway, that cemented a friendship, with the Wicks family. That night we sat at the campfire in their camp and recorded a podcast episode that I'm not sure what the number of it is right now. I didn't write that note down, but it's basically the very definition of campfire talk. Was we're literally sitting around a campfire recording, and we had been drinking. There's a bottle working its way around the campfire. That we had a little bit of a studio audience, if you will. But
that's right.
You ended up passing out.
I had campfire narcolepsy. I was exhausted from that day, and then I got deep into the cups early as soon as we got back to camp. And fixing dinner, and then sitting, dark campfire whiskey good night.
So I'm like, we're sitting there, and Jason's no longer talking. So I had to take over, which is fine. But I mean, we ran the show. I think the Eric and Chris and I talked for another, I don't know, however long, but it was fun. And I want to go back and listen to that episode again, because I'm sure we were slurring pretty hard.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. It's amazing they still talk to me. That was pretty rude of me to fall asleep, but I picked it back up. I reignited the candle and got it going again.
That's right, as you usually do.
Good, became good friends. In episode 345, prior to this one, we interviewed Eric. About his Mudfest there at Area BFE. So
that's right.
Definitely that has been a lot of fun following their journeys and watching them grow in the Ultra 4 sport as well. And Justin is just kicking ass now, and Eric with his new weapon is
absolutely
showing the nephew that he still has it. And good luck keeping up this year, kid. So that's going to be great to watch. Okay, so since that's a great segue, I have names, lots of names that we interviewed. So it was interesting because I never, if when we started this podcast and you said, hey, are you guys going to interview people? Fuck no, I don't know how to interview people. I don't want to interview people.
Right.
But we started that, and I don't know how it all evolved, and I'm trying to remember back when.
Well, I mean, let's think about the early days.
So how did that happen?
Well,
You got the great memory like an elephant right now.
Well, it was green grassroots, you know. I mean, we were just kind of didn't know what we were doing, fumbling around. I know we had you had those questions you wanted to ask, over or under on the toilet paper roll, and
yeah. I had. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
What's your favorite position when you're having sex? You know, whatever.
Wow, wow. I don't remember that question.
But well, I mean, it's just you had like whatever you're going to call it, textbook questions that should be asked is like,
we had some icebreaker questions.
Exactly. That's what I was looking for.
Conversations going, but go on.
So I think but it's the show of, we ran out. I'm not going to say we ran out of, but we needed to evolve and develop into conveying, information to our listeners that came from the horse's mouth, if you will.
Yeah, and you can only talk about, off-roading for so long, but there's the cast of characters that make off-roading great, and that's what we did. But I'm trying. I don't remember how this Kevin Jones thing came about, because I do remember that we, we're all new podcasters. We got our media vest for,
wasn't it
race?
Wasn't it he popped in on Instagram or something, and you saw that
that was it.
Hey man, we have a real Ultra 4 racer following us or something, and or listening to us,
like that.
And it turns out he wasn't. I mean, he's not a real Ultra 4. No, he is, Kevin. We love you, Kevin.
Kevin still listens to the podcast, so we got to find out. We got to bring this up and see if you remember Kevin. Call me. But yeah, it might have been something like that. And so we got our media bands and vests. That was our first media official event
at the Wild West Motorsport Park.
And we were legit, man. We freaking put on our vest. You walk down with a backpack. We go straight to his pit, and this guy next to him that we've talked about before, and I'm not going to get into any details, but he had a little bit of ego.
A little.
So we walk in as media to Kevin Jones, who's, got this, car that he just got, and it's like one of his first races.
Well, we followed the trail of oil to his car.
We did. He had a little issue. And we go, yeah, we're here to interview you, and the guy next, I want to be interviewed. What's this all about? This guy just started racing. And I'm like, yeah, well, we're interviewing him right now. And so that's how it all started. And
right.
You're right. So I did have, and I think I still have those questions written out. Well, of course you could listen to the old episodes in there, but yeah, they were just icebreakers to get conversation going. And so that's one of the coolest things that as you've experienced with, the evolution of editing an episode, my evolution has been interviewing people, and where I used to take copious notes and stuff, and I still do my homework and take notes. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't as nervous. I'm not as nervous now interviewing whoever, because I've learned how to get stories out of people, and I learned you can't do it with textbook questions.
No, well, it's a process, right? I mean, you break the ice, like you said, and then you get them talking, and then you have your standard questions. How'd you start? Where were you born? What's your mother's name? Whatever the questions are, but they start telling their stories. They start to thaw out, and then next thing you know, your what they say might prompt another question.
Right. And so like the, the toilet paper, do you put the toilet paper roll on with the toilet paper over or under, and it was like, right. If you answered under, the interview was over. I was just like, I can't talk to you. You're not us. No,
canceled.
Yeah. But you learn, and you listen to these people, and then it's like, and we go down, we call them rabbit holes and stuff.
Exactly.
Rabbit trails, rabbit holes. There's some holes for sure that we
Squirrel.
go into. But the cool thing is, they mention something, and that triggers in my mind some other questions. And that's when you see me feverishly writing down during an interview. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool, because I want to know more about XYZ that they just kind of just mentioned briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And some interviews are super easy. Like Ian Johnson, fucking 2-year-old could interview Ian Johnson because he's just got stories up the wazoo. It's right. You just hand him a mic and just pull the ripcord and let him go.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's your show now. Just get run with it, which is awesome. But obviously that's his career and profession, and that's what he does. And then I'm gonna pick on Justin Wicks now. He's my we've interviewed him quite a few times, and the first time we interviewed him, it's very difficult. It's just short yes no answers, and it's like, Justin, give me a little more, let's talk about this.
And he's gotten way
better. Absolutely. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, he was a young kid. He still is a young kid. He will always be a young kid in my mind, but it's great to document that, right? And get
sure
that going, and even Amber, I mean, she was, hard to get information out of, and now you could just hand her a mic and let her rip.
Well, I mean, the first time we interviewed Amber we were standing outside her next to her Samurai that was all not wadded up, but
it wasn't
raisined
up then compared
raisined
to now.
up, and we used like I think we might have been using the wireless mics back then, but we were standing. We never even sat down anywhere. We just stood for 20 minutes or whatever that was. We talked to her the first time
at their camp at Stonehenge, where we camp now.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we never really got super formal with this. We didn't sit down. It was like a flyby, I like to call it.
It was cool.
And now we've had her on the show like 175 times.
I think so. All right, I'm going to roll through these names here, and it may invoke some stories and stuff as we go. But the Wicks, I got the Wicks at the top of my list. Eric, Justin, and Chris.
Yep.
Justin Hall's been on the podcast a lot. I know he stepped back from Ultra 4 racing a little bit this year to concentrate on family stuff.
Good for him.
But very talented,
dedicated
fabricator himself. He built his own race car and raced it successfully and built his career on that. He has his own shop, 13 Fab now. Mm-hmm. And he's got a cute ass kid and a great wife. I actually officiated his wedding.
You did?
Again, another relationship that I never would have had without the podcast. Chris Ray.
The wrong seat.
The wrong seat, the number one wrong seat of Ultra 4.
Boy, watching his evolution, I mean, holy mackerel, I mean,
yeah.
To see that he right seated for 2 kings this last Hammers, I mean, awesome.
Right. And a dream of his to get in the right seat with Shannon Campbell. That was a single seat car up until, 2 years ago. And then riding with Randy and where Randy said, hold my beer and watch this. Not exactly, but basically as a metaphorical sense. Unfortunately, it would have been great to see them finish.
It was going great until it didn't.
Until it wasn't. Bailey Cole.
He was
one of our early interviews as well at KOH.
Yes.
And again, we interviewed him just recently at the last KOH here. Great guy, friend of the podcast, genuine. Again, he could have an attitude, and he's the opposite of that. And I respect the kid for that. He's a hell of a driver. He's become a great, like he said, chief, wheel turner and pedal pusher. So that's what he does, and he does it well. You mentioned Levi Shirley. That was one of our early big names that we got too.
Well, and the origination of that is the whole beaver incident.
That was the beaver that walked into his shop. He put it on social media, so I DM'd him, and I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious! I need to get this story, and here we are doing this, and super super cool family, and invited us into their pit, and I think we could have spent the rest of KOH there if they the way they were welcoming us in. That was awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna. These are not in any particular order, by the way. I just started, just going through my jumbled mind, salad that's going on up there. Paul Wolf, we got to interview Paul Wolf early on, and that was a remote interview. But literally, junkyard dog learning how to drive these cars that was in the junkyard that they. we'd get running with other parts from the cars in the junkyard and just go racing them around the junkyard. And
great story. If you haven't heard that episode, go back, find it, and listen to it.
That is great. And then if you haven't seen the YouTube video of him doing the Gymkhana type, he did a Gymkhana version, version that's fucking awesome. He did a trick, a kickflip, basically around the lake that he did not plan on. That was
that's right,
epic to watch. Super talented driver, wheelman. We call him a wheelman. Boston Kyle. How about Boston Kyle?
Boston Kyle. EVE.
He's great. We did that. They were local. That was oh my God, it's escaping me. What's his name? Will Speck.
Yeah, back
we
in
went
Union
to the
City.
Garage in Fremont in this just
Union
regular Anytown USA house neighborhood, and they're fucking around with
9 voltage batteries,
7 gigawatts of power and cables, and in this garage. And it's lucky his house didn't burn down, but that was a fun one. Jake Calloway, that's no longer in Ultra 4, hurt his back, I believe, and he's out. But handsome Jay,
great hair. Just like you.
yeah. Well, it's turning gray, though. Rich Klein, trail hero.
Rich Klein,
talked to him a few times on the podcast. Brett King of King Shocks recently. That was one of those ones that I tried to get for the last few years, and finally made that happen. Again, another guy that's humble and not searching out the limelight. We have people contact us, and I get it, and that's cool. I got a story to tell. Perfect. And that's usually what it is. And then you got the egomaniacs. We've turned down, we don't do every interview. We've turned down people.
That's right.
Because frankly, I didn't care to tell their story, and I'll leave it at that. So it's not that we're snooty or anything either. It's just like some people just like to talk about themselves and arrogant, and that's not our podcast. Our podcast is genuine, badass people that are passionate about off-roading. So getting Brent was cool to hear his story. And again, once we got him going, he was telling stories and fucking awesome. If you haven't heard that episode, that's a recent episode from this past KOH.
Don't forget his cohort is sitting next to him, Bomber Bob.
I was going to say, we got Bomber Bob's debut on the podcast as well, which is freaking Bomber Bob's awesome. Handing out the oranges and stuff all the time. He's a great guy. Again, there's so many characters. Jake White from Cardo Tracks.
Oh yeah.
And it's great. Jake from State Farm. So yeah, he's a great guy, and has been on the podcast a few times. And then Corey from Miracle Trust, just because him and Jake are good friends. And Corey and I got to do the Rubicon this year in Fordyce and talk whiskey, and I got to introduce him to Scotch. So
that's right. I remember that episode.
He's Scotch bottles and stuff now. Sorry, not sorry, Corey. And he, it's just a great guy. Charlene Bauer. So Charlene's dad, Ben Bauer, I've known for years because Ben Bauer and my dad were best friends and machinist, and they shared a lot of passion for machining. And so I've known Charlene, equally as well in all the different four-wheel drive events. So it's always great to see her, and got to interview her at Jeepers Jamboree, and Bob Sweeney, who puts on Jeepers Jamboree. So that's again, all these episodes, it just brings back memories. Dolly.
She's been on the show a few times. Yeah,
and she did the Rebel Rally, so we had her and Amber on. It's Amber's mom.
Moment of silence for the V across.
No, the V. Oh boy. But Dolly is a character in her own right. She's Camp Mom. She's everybody's mom at KOH.
Checkpoint Dolly. That's right.
Checkpoint Dolly. Cole and Sky Johnson. That's been great. Got to know them, and I just recently got to go up to their compound shop up there in Utah. SXOR. Got to see Sky Extreme Off-Road. Got to see where my buggy originated. And, Brandon, their dad, we've had him on the podcast as well. So that's been a cool story to tell. Chris just kicking back, drinking his wine now. Carlos at Tac One Fab.
What a great guy. Carlos is super cool. And Anthony.
Dude, so Carlos, it was hilarious when I met him, through off-roading and stuff here. And then I go to his house. I think you were with me. We went there to interview him, right?
Yeah, and Ultra 4 Jones was there.
And Ultra 4 Jones and anyways, so the leather shop. So
well, that's his primary business, right?
And then he's got this leather shop, and we're looking at all these cool freaking chaps and stuff, and I'm like, dude, this guy fucking does leather too. We'll come to find out he's one of the fucking best leather men around. Leather people. I don't know what you say now. Leatherman. But
that's a brand.
Buckaroo.
Buckaroo.
Yeah, go look him up. He's fucking got a huge following. And this whole, off-roading thing and building race cars and stuff was a little side deal. So that was cool to reveal. And then his good buddy Anthony from DF Fab became one of our friends.
Yep.
Now he went out on his own, and that's all he does now is fabricating badass trail cars, and he'll work on anything. But he's got quite the shop down there as well.
He does.
And great family. He's got 3 boys and doing some awesome stuff. And I still say bang for the buck. That's one of the best trail buggies you can get made for you is call Anthony at DF Fab. Little Charlie from Charlie Melcher from the East Coast. And that was a fun interview. You remember that? We were at KOH.
In my camper,
Yeah, I told you, I said, we got to interview this kid that's just, an up-and-comer on the...
He was like 12.
Crawling seat. He was pretty young. And so his dad came to the interview, Big Charlie, who's already has a name in the rock crawling arena, competition rock crawling. And we did the interview. And you remember his dad at the end of that interview? Do you remember what he said?
I do not.
Okay. Well, you remember everything else. But yes, we were in your camper, and we interviewed Charlie, and we finished the interview and shut off the mics, put them down, and we're thanking each other and stuff. And his dad had a fucking tear in his eye, and he goes, "Thank you for treating my son with respect."
Oh.
He goes, I was a little apprehensive of having him do a podcast, like, I don't know if he thought we were going to, rip on him or what, but we're just here to tell the story. We want to hear your story and put it out there.
We're here to make it happen, not to embellish,
But that was super cool that, as a father and proud of his son, and then to allow him to tell a story, and he was just super. That was a cool moment. I just remember that.
That's cool. I don't remember that particular moment, but I do remember that they're from the New York area, and we had some common memories of, because I grew up in Connecticut, and there was some commonality about locations we knew about. So
exactly.
I mean, it's a small world to think about all the people, and of course what's that girl we interviewed? The teenage girl. Okay,
so I think I'm going to the great segue. That's my next one is Kevin and Caitlin.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin and Caitlin, they're out of Utah. They're trail, I call it trail here. It's St. George Hurricane, Sand Hollow. But Caitlin's on, you can watch her all the time now on YouTube on Matt's Off-Road Recovery.
That's right. Yeah, she's doing that.
She's been working with Matt, which is fucking awesome. And she doesn't care about, gravity and shit like that. She's proven to be a great rock crawler. She's had some hellacious...
Gravity took her XJ over the hill.
Yeah, I was going to say had some hellacious accidents, but, with experience comes great... knowledge, and she's capitalized on that,
and a strong roll bar.
You're right.
Safety cage, whatever you call it.
Anyways, it's great to see them doing well, and let's see. Well, I got Scott Profit next, who's hosting the our podcast now, is sponsoring our podcast.
That's
Ruby
right.
Tracks.
Ruby Tracks.
We'll throw Nick Bailey back in there. He's been on the podcast numerous times too. Obviously, we referred to episode 163 earlier. That was Glacier Girl. That was Nick's Recovery Avalanche Technical. Shout out to Avalanche Technical, Nick. There you go. We'll expect some more money from you. But yeah, no. Anyways, it's cool. So I got to know Nick over the years. Nick's, Randy Slosson's crew chief, Amber Slosson's crew chief for the race.
Right.
And he's a cool guy from Canada.
He's a cool cucumber, man.
Yeah,
he doesn't. I don't think he gets angry. I'm not sure if that's possible for him.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's highly organized and a great crew chief. He is that epitome of a crew chief, and I love his technicality. And he is, lover of snow. Like me, so but he's more in depth than I am. But I got more days on the snow skiing than he did this year. So there you go, Nick. But Scott, getting to know Scott through Nick has been great, and hopefully Scott will be here stateside soon. I understand that's his desire, so that'll be cool. Derek and Megan Miller. Holy shit.
God. What a story there.
Times, huh? And going from,
a Sequoia.
Derek had his Sequoia racing, and then Megan's like, hey, I want to race. And she got that Jeep, the baby Jeep, right? It was called, from Dawson.
Yeah.
Allington. And then she was raced that and was doing very well.
Maxed it out, basically.
Yeah. And then Derek's like, all right. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm D-Mill with a welder. He's that's
all he does now is weld
handle.
and wrench.
And he's like, okay, you race. I'm going to make your race car the best it can be. So
I'll be your mecanico, your right seat driver or right seat passenger, and I'll be your husband.
Yeah, yeah, and that's hard to do all of that. Hats off to them. And Megan is super genuine, and she's like, oh, I'm doing okay. And I'm like, no, you're fucking killing it, girl. So we've had them on
3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Great stories. Watching, again, just in the 7 years, watching it evolve, right? And then I got Dawson Allington here. We had him on there and talking about, his struggles and stuff. That was quite a touching episode too. Now that I look back on that, Woody Rose, another local boy here out of the northern Nevada area. Woody's great and kicking ass in his 4800 car. Waylon Campbell, who? Waylon? Yeah,
dude,
Waylon's
that was
cool.
a great episode.
You scored that episode. That was fucking awesome.
We were at Prairie City, man. That was super cool. We were camped. There's not a whole lot of people camp out, but we were over there by the obstacle course. The big rock piles and whatnot down there. And I had literally just gotten into camp and I got leveled and I was getting bent. And this Ultra 4 car comes motoring by, and I'm like looking at this car, and he's like, he shuts down. He's like, hey, I just fixed my car. I just want to run it up the rocks here real quick. And I'm like, well, that's cool. Just don't throw any rocks into my camper. And I'm like, hey, are you Waylon Campbell? He's like, yeah, I am. It's like, dude, we got to get you on the show, man. I'm Chris with Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. He's like, yeah, man, I want to get on the show. So anyway, we made it happen. It was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was hot as hell, as it usually is at Prairie City in the summer. California. And I had the generator going, my AC going in the camper. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll go record my camper because, I got the AC. And then the fucking generator quit and it started getting hot in there. Again, another kid, that was born into the Ultra 4 arena, I will say, whose dad is arguably the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Pretty much.
Godfather. I call him the Godfather. Shannon Campbell. And Waylon was his own guy, very similar. This is I'm comparing him and Bailey Cole. Like,
Yes.
you got a very successful father in Ultra 4, and they're making their own name, and they have made their own name for themselves, and they could have used their fathers as crutches and like, oh, well, I'm so and so's son. Well, who gives a fuck? Yeah, you made your own name. So I'm super proud of those kids to like take that stance and not take the easy way out and like, oh, well, my dad's so and so. Well, who gives a fuck? What do you do? What
Well,
can you do?
conversely, the dads don't take it easy on them either. I mean, look at that one episode or event that Shannon talked about in that first interview with him, where he was racing against his son, and brought a tear to his eye
again. It's the passion. And that's the people I want to talk to that are fucking in this sport, because let's face it, you're not making any money in this sport.
No.
So let's share their story about their passion and why they're doing it and why they're spending buku bucks and racking up their credit cards and putting it on the dash and racing. It's for the love of fucking racing and Ultra 4 and off-roading,
Well, it's the evolution of things. You look at, it's like, hey, they were the truly successful Ultra 4 race car drivers and hammers and the other races. They're the ones that have their roots in rock crawling, because that's where the hammers really is. It's not so much the desert racing. I mean, it's the actual rock crawling part of it.
Right.
And the ones that understand the technical rock crawling, they're the ones that usually succeed better,
Right. No, exactly. All right, oh my God, there's pages here. Okay. Dave Wong, rock crawler.
Yeah.
He sold his car.
What?
Rumor is there's a new car being built, but
well, of course there
anyways,
is.
I don't know if he's going to compete though, but he will. It's in his blood, and he dominated rock crawling, technical rock crawling.
Well, he thinks of you as Chris, and
That's right. That's exactly
Jason.
Right. So in my garage is a poster, a little mini poster of him that I had him sign it. Or actually, God, I think James went up and said, because I had to go do something else, whatever. And no, I went up to him. That's right. Because I told James, I said, make sure Dave's still there. And then so I went up to Dave and I go, hey, I want one of your posters, sign it. So he put on there, to Chris, my biggest fan. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you got to listen to the Dave Wong first interview we did at Trail Hero a few years ago. He called me Chris right at the beginning of the episode. So love you, Dave, and he's great. Yeah, he's got some badass skills, and one of my best reels on IG is from him doing his little pirouette off the rock this past year.
That was awesome.
At the Trailbreaker. And, so as my mind works, I'm like, oh, okay, Dave's up there in Utah. Holly Fowler, Utah. We've had her on, and I got to get that sound bite where she says, "'Tis like angels crying on me tongue," because she's authentic and was a singer and became, this off-roader, and now racing Ultra 4, and just has been super deep into and getting deeper into off-roading. She has her own little shop now, and has the, Mischief Maker Jeep, and then obviously her Nessie, her, Ultra 4 rig. And it's cool to watch her journey and how she just went from like,
wreck wheeler to what she's doing now.
Yeah. And not even like, I think she was in real estate or something, and then just like, F this, I want to go wheeling, and she made a career out of it, which is awesome.
Well, there it is.
Mentioned Sully Bunn earlier. Again, great inspirational person, and they sell the Bunn Trail Welder. Shout out to the Bunn Trail Welder that you hook up to battery and weld. It's a MIG welder, wire feed welder. So freaking awesome. If you need any kind of welder for off-roading, that's great. And it's compatible, with the welder that I have. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank right now. The Premier Power Welder.
Premier, that's right.
So yeah, so good. Evolve Racing.
Oh, I was going to ask if you were going to talk about Keith and
Melissa. And what's
Natalia.
So how many people out there have a name when they get drunk? And hers is Natalia. A freaking great couple.
She's fun.
And unfortunately, his battery pack burned up.
Yeah.
But
test 10, right?
Test 10. Yes, the S10 that they turned electric. His rock crawler he turned electric. Gave it a fucking valid effort out there at KOH. Then the battery pack burned up. Again,
saved the truck, but lost the batteries.
He saved the truck. So he has a Jeep that I know he's building up. So hopefully we'll see him out on the trails. But as we mentioned earlier, the Ultra 4 racing, you're doing it for passion, not for freaking the money. And last year nobody got paid. Anyways, Jason Berger, local boy here, Trekkie, CrossFit Sally, Jason Shearer's co-dog. We had him on the podcast too, and of course we had Jason Shear at another time, and we've had them both together.
We've got the story of him running across the desert to get gasoline for Jason Shearer.
I mean, just that's what I really love at KOH is telling these stories that we don't see on the live feed and hearing about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes in the pit or whatever. And it's fun. Aaron Smith, 178, Team 178. Yep. What a Cinderella story coming out of Texas. The guy's a fucking madman. He has his own shop. He's a grinder. Right. He does well enough to get his, he built a bomber from scratch from tubes that he bought off of Randy. Randy gave him a bunch of, advice and stuff, and he successfully races this bomber that he built. And arguably third place finisher this year at arguably the hardest race that has ever been raced at King of the Hammers. Super fucking cool. And to see Kevin Jones build that relationship with him and be his right seat is a match made in heaven. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, you have first of all, you've got Kevin's a good driver, but Aaron's a good driver, great driver. But they're both technically, you're really good wrench turners, So, I mean, you've got kind of, like you said, a match made in heaven. You've got the ability to drive the car and the ability to fix the car on the fly. Yeah. And that's really important because, mechanical sympathy may or may not play into the race.
Exactly. And freaking, Aaron just finished building this Willys Jeep. He totally tore it down to the frame rails, painted, fixed everything, built up all the drivetrain, and got this thing on the road. It seemed like a month. Maybe it was 6 weeks. I don't know. It was ridiculously fast. Very talented and cool to follow their story, and our buddy Rodney got to be part of that team.
Yep.
Helping out Kevin and then meeting Aaron. And then he was part of that team this year. And we talked about that on the podcast. So, I mean, just cool how all these different people interact and getting to tell their stories. Thor Motorsports, Jamie McKean, that was a few years ago at KOH. We got to talk to him. Was he from Canada? I want to say.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. I hope I'm doing you justice, Jamie, but I do remember you, and that was super cool watching you guys, your journey out to Sierra Trek, fucking
Hammers,
kicking in, out to the Hammers and racing, and holy hell. I mean, it's just these people that throw, literally the credit card on the line and just fuck it, I'm going to do this. And they're living life. They're enjoying it. They're not sitting on their couch, afraid of what's happening next, watching the news and getting all the freak fucked out of them. But, good stuff. Okay, Danny from Red Wet Willie.
Oh, Danny.
Gotta talk about Danny Jones for a second. He used to work at WFO,
right?
And then he started his own shop. Got married, great gal, and freaking Danny sends it everywhere. And I see Danny. The funny thing is, talked about on the podcast here several times. It's like I'll be on a trail, one of the difficult rock crawling trails wherever in Northern California, and Danny's there somewhere.
Yep.
I turn the corner and I go, there's Danny, or there's his dad, Dave. So cool to see Danny, but I had to give him a shout out.
Usually fixing somebody's shit or towing somebody's shit.
If anybody's broken down and Danny or Dave or any of those guys are around, they're working on their shit. John and Renee Allen from Sierra Trek. That's why I mentioned Trek earlier. If you could see this paper that I'm reading off of, you would be fucking laughing right now. My chicken scratch. But yeah, John and Renee have been friends forever. I met John before Renee, I think, technically. Renee's like my sister from another mother. So brother from another mother, sister from another mother. Yeah. And John's a great friend, fellow CJ5 owner.
Right.
And they were host of Trek there, and we promoted, Trek as we always do. But they're part of the Mad Hatters Club, and so is Danny and his dad Dave.
Yep.
So, anyways,
yep.
That's where I got the Trek reference. So I'm not too far off here. Cody Wagner.
I was going to bring him up because I was thinking we haven't talked about Cody Wagner, one of the biggest personalities of Hammers, and with his Laser Town. If you haven't had the opportunity to visit Laser Town, it's not an open invitation anymore. It's pretty locked down during Hammers, but Cody is quite the personality. If you don't follow him on the IG, you really should. He doesn't do quite as many posts when he's driving his Raptor.
Doesn't do his daily post anymore.
Hello, Instagram land.
Hello, Instagram land. Here's a Prius in front of me, pissing me off in the fast lane, doing 50.
But Cody is a fiery personality, that is for sure. And go ahead.
He's and he invests in the sport, right? He loves the sport. Was a competition rock crawler, very successful. Him and Randall. We've had him and Randall on the podcast at the same time at Trail Hero. But Cody sponsors a lot of people. He has the means to do that, and loves it. And it's awesome to see his support and his company LaserNet, that he's taken it. Literally, his dad started it, and then he's brought it to where it is today, which is just crazy. I don't know how many, how many laser cutting machines they have, how many bender brakes that they have, and the sheet metal work and the parts. There's a lot of parts that if you go online and order for your Jeep or whatever off-roader, Bronco, that are built by LaserNet and then brought to wherever you bought them from to do whatever they do, paint them whatever color, and then they show up on your doorstep. But a lot of that stuff starts at LaserNet. So very cool.
And he makes all the trophies and all the, usually the centerpiece for the fire pit at main camp in Lasertown, not Lasertown, Hammertown, right next to Lasertown.
So Lasertown's insane. It started with containers, and it's just amazing to go there early on and having Bloody Marys that one morning with him
outside,
and his wife and
Lindsay
and Lacey. His youngest daughter was running around, and here we are, years later, and it's just cool. Cool fucking passionate people. Another passionate person that's become a good friend of the podcast and us is Jonathan Harry.
Oh, that's right.
He was formerly of Onyx Off-Road, but Jonathan he's a snowboarder, and I won't hold that against him because I do like him a lot.
He's a good dude.
A good dude, but holy hell, snowboarding really?
Knuckle dragger.
He's a great guy. We talk at least once a week, and he just got a new job. I don't know if you're even aware of it, Chris.
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
He's working for Tread Lightly now.
Yeah, I kind of saw that. I mean, that's good for him. That's awesome.
It's freaking awesome. Very talented photographer and passionate, again, about the industry. And anyway, shout out to Jonathan of Tread Lightly now. That's fucking awesome. And his cohort, Christina the Huntress, we had on the podcast early on, talking to her. You remember that interview, Chris?
I do. I like Christina a lot. She's super cool.
She was in our camper during the Bailey Cole interview, and the Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey hospitality trailer, I should say. Sampling
all of them, all the bourbons and whiskeys.
All the bourbons. Okay. I can't. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Samurai James and Lady Samurai James Aranda. Went from Suzuki Samurai life, tried to make it a rock crawler buggy, and said, "F this! I need to get a real buggy." Bought a goat built buggy. That's when I flew out to meet Ian Johnson, and we all hung out with Ian Johnson when James picked up his new goat built buggy. And we went to Tennessee and hung out with him and Ian Johnson, and we did some cool shit. We got to do
whiskey tasting
at Leaper's Fork. I got if you ever go out to Nashville, and Nashville's fucking cool. It's Nash Vegas downtown, but outskirts, 45 minutes outskirts of town, 45 minutes is a distillery called Leaper's Fork. And we went there. It is fucking the creme de la creme. And then you got to go to Jack Daniels for sure. So that was the cool thing. As soon as we got there, Ian goes, "Hey, go to Jack Daniels and go take the tour. And then we're going to do some fun shit tomorrow." And it was awesome. Boy, I can't wait to get back there. But
Chat Whiskey.
Chat Whiskey was another one. Yeah. Good memory. But James and Rhonda are super fun and become great proponents, I will say, of the podcast. I give them stickers to hand out on the trail and stuff, and they are super fans, I will say, of the podcast. I've got John Mad Cow Himble next. Finally got to interview him at Trail Hero this past year.
Oh, him, yeah.
Because he set the world's fastest record on
skiing. Yeah.
And James got to be his spotter at We Rocks competition at Trail Hero this year. So just kind of, again, how my brain works and the tie-in. I just wrote these down, how my brain works, not in any particular order. But John's a great driver, and it was cool to see James get to compete with him. And I think they finished second or third. They were on the podium.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. George and Laura Liner, the super couple of, Herc in there. That was cool. He's just a budget rock card, fucking 0 Fs, makes it happen. I've seen him spin around on the hood trying to get his buggy flipped back up. They are very into the sport, and so good. Todd LeDuc, monster truck driver. We got to, I got to interview, that late night. Oh my God, that was a late night. Nick Bailey set that up, but getting to interview him, very freaking cool. Okay, so
the list is long. And
it's
extensive.
Crazy. We got to shout out to our sponsors.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about our sponsors, Chris.
Who are they? Well, the OG sponsor.
OG sponsors.
Dirtbag Clothing.
Dirtbag Clothing, Johnny.
Good old Johnny.
He
doesn't live in the States anymore.
But doesn't know he's in Spain. But Dirtbag Johnny. I am drinking. Okay, let's talk about what I'm drinking now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
killed a bottle of Old Elk Wheated. Now I'm on to Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye, which is one of my favorites.
I think you gave me a bottle of that.
It's 132.8 proof.
That'll light
Giddy
you
up,
up,
cowboy. And
it's like jet fuel.
It's good stuff. It's what's keeping me going right now. Okay, yeah. So John from Dirtbag Clothing helped us out with our logo. That's I told him, hey, I want this cartoony logo. And if you go on our website, wheelandwineandwhiskey.com, and you scroll all the way through our episodes to episode 0, there's a picture there that Chris put up of our introduction, our first April 19th. Hey, we're doing a podcast. Hope you want to listen. Thanks. Bye. The picture there is the picture that we sent to the artist that came up with our logo. This was way before AI, folks. This was, hey, we want kind of a cartoony, fun logo driving over barrels. A wine barrel and a couple whiskey barrels, right?
That's right.
Wine and whiskey. So it all tied together. People love our logo. I love our logo. Chris loves our logo. And so Johnny helped make that happen in all our apparel. So speaking of apparel, Chris, how did they get our apparel?
Well, hold on real quick. Fun fact, that picture Jason just talked about was taken when we were on the Barrett Lake Trail.
When I was
right seating, and that it ties it all together. Yeah, the birth of the podcast, exactly.
God damn, you are a wealth of knowledge.
That's all I got going for me anymore. So, anyway, yeah. So, how do you our merch? Well, you go to wheelandwinewhiskey.com and click on the merch link on our homepage, and you can see all the cool shit you can buy. Shirts, hoodies, koozies, stickers, coffee cups. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There might even be baby onesies.
Baby onesies are on there, I think. Yeah. No, absolutely. So Johnny, set that up, and it's great because you can get a way more variety of stuff, and we don't have to keep inventory. It's a direct consumer. Yeah, Chris is wearing one of our Wheeling Wine and Whiskey limited edition Army Green shirts right now that are, our irate 4x4 subscribers have got on. So we got to talk about Austin from Irate.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got to meet him at KOH. Fan of podcast, I should say. He likes ours the best. He told me.
Absolutely. Well, you should.
And he told you, Chris. He goes, "You guys are my favorite podcast." So,
of course,
he sponsors some other podcasts too, like Snail Trail, whatever. I had to get this first Toyota suck. I said this podcast, but shout out to Austin at Irate 4x4. He took, Pirate 4x4 and made it great again. So that's fucking awesome. And
brought it back,
helping us
ashes.
out because it costs money to do this shit. And, Austin's like, hey, I can host you guys on my site, and it's not going to cost you to do we used to do Patreon, and then we moved it to Irate for our, membership and people that wanted to support financially to the podcast.
Directly support us.
Yeah, and you can still do that, $5, $10, $20 a month, and that's on Irate 4x4. But Austin is hosting that for us at zero cost. And so
which is super
shout
cool.
out to him. We mentioned Johnny at Dirtbag that does all our merch and has done a tremendous amount for the podcast. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
But no, Toyota Tyler. Tyler has done a lot for us. He still does our website hosting and is kind of our technical guy to go to with this.
He really is. I mean, I talk to Tyler when we have issues and there's something going on. I mean, every once in a while something happens to the back end and we have to talk to Tyler, as much as we dread it.
Yeah. Well, frankly, you got to be successful. You got to surround yourself with successful people. Holy shit. I'm having trouble enunciating.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pull
Here
the
we
plug
go.
here.
Okay. Where are we at? At hour 23. Okay. But no, Tyler has helped us out immensely.
He has.
He puts on his propeller hat, spins the propeller, and helps. And Chris and him figure a lot of shit out. Because there's times, I'm like, Chris, our episode didn't drop Tuesday morning. He's like, oh shit, what happened? And some RSS feed got fucked up. I don't know. Stuff is beyond my pay grade. And these guys figure it out. So shout out to Tyler for helping, us keep this thing on the air.
And I want to shout out to Jimmy Jett from Snail Trail 4x4 because he's the guy that does their editing, and he and I talk about our editing, and he's helped me a lot. He gave me a tutorial on how to use Auditions from Adobe, because that really is the tool to use for proper podcast editing. I mean, you can use the free stuff, but really spending the $20 a month or whatever it is to have the more powerful, more reliable tools, industry standards, if you will. So, Jimmy, thanks for your help over the years. It's much appreciated.
No, absolutely. And it takes an army. I mean, the relationships we built behind the scenes, and you lean on these people because no one has all the answers. And it's like, hey, I know this, and people that take the deep dives in some of this stuff, like, editing. Chris and Jimmy go deep into that stuff. I don't know a whole lot about it. That's not I stay in my lane.
Well, there's going to be a little episode coming out. There's some cross episodes happening in the future. And I'm going to, if you listen to our competition, the Snail Trail, I wouldn't call them competition, sister podcast.
Our sister podcast.
There's going to be an episode that drops in the near future that was quite the challenge for me to edit.
Next week. Yeah, next week, they invited us to do an episode because they're going to be doing Trail Hero X and away for a week, and they invited a few different podcasts to. So it was an honor to be on a I can't even say it. Toyota podcast. And all I can say, this is the one time I'm going to tell you to listen to the Snail Trail podcast because our episode is fucking good.
I think so. I did a good job editing it. It's some of my best work ever, I think. So
good. And last but definitely not least, financial sponsorship is Scott and Nick from Ruby Tracks.
Absolutely.
They did 6 months. Scott's like, hey, I'll throw some money at you. You got a sponsor? And I go, no, we're just trying to make this thing happen. He goes, well, let me throw you out, a few ducats for 6 months. And then the 6 months ended, and he goes, hey, I want to re-up. And that's super cool. So having the financial support is huge. Believe me, we do it because we love this, just like we were building an Ultra 4 car, which is way less money, but it's our time and it's our money in making this happen. And it's fun. I enjoy it. All these people that I mentioned and interviews that we've done and people we've met and relationships we've made over the years is our payment, because we said from the beginning, Chris and I were like, when this stops becoming fun, we're going to stop. And we've gotten to that point. We crossed that bridge a few times, Chris, but it's cool. It's looking back on this, doing a little reflecting, pretty fucking awesome. And then having some financial support really solidifies what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, there's absolutely correct, Jason. There's some costs associated with producing the show. I mean, I mentioned there's various subscriptions and hosting costs and domain costs and so forth that we need a little bit of help with. And obviously that stuff all those costs were coming directly out of our pockets in the early days. Yeah. But the Patreon, and then of course the support from Austin over there at Irate 4x4, and of course, as you just mentioned, Ruby Tracks. Get out there, Ruby Tracks.
Get out there. I love it.
But it definitely helps, and we really, really, really appreciate it, and it certainly makes it easier for us to do the show.
Yeah. All right. I got a couple more things here, Chris, and then we're going to put a bow on this.
Sweet.
So our interactions with other podcasts that we got to meet throughout the years, of course, Snail Trail, Toyota Suck podcast, Talon Off Road. That was they do a little YouTube channel.
Yep.
Total Off Road podcast. So pretty cool there. Derek moved they were East Coast, right? Or
Chicago area, I think. Yeah. Michigan, Illinois.
Yeah, Michigan stuff. So Derek moved out here to Silicon Valley for his job, and we got to wheel with him at Hammers a couple years ago.
He has a full-size Chevy.
Exactly, yeah, full-size on high. Steve from Summershine, who has become a fucking TikTok maniac. I don't know, whatever. He's got 1 million subscribers. Pretty cool. He's part of that podcast too.
Mm-hmm.
It just came up the other day. I was showing, I talked about Steve from Summershine. He did this video, this TikTok thing, and I'm not on TikTok. I barely do Instagram well. And he did this thing where, he was pouring a drink, into somebody's cup, and I can't remember who he did it with originally. And I'm like, dude, that was badass. Can you do that for us? And we were at KOH. This is a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
With Old Elk and shit, right? So he goes, okay. He goes, have somebody pour whiskey into your glass and film that, and then I'll take it from there. And I'm like, okay. And then we did an interaction. I'm like, hey, Steve, how you doing? Wish you were out here at KOH. And he's like, yeah, let me pour you some whiskey. So I'm holding out a fucking whiskey glass. And he pours it from his screen, and it looks like he's reaching in. It's somebody else's hand and, Old Elk bottle pouring into my glass. And then he pours himself a glass, and then he's like, and I was standing in front of my buggy with Lorenzo on the hood, and he's like, how's Lorenzo still standing out there, Anyways, great fucking shit. He's done very well for himself. Check out Summershine polishing products. He has his own products out there and stuff now. Again, met through podcasting, just talking into a fucking mic. Right. Trail Chasers. What happened to them? I gotta call them. I don't know. I think they died of dysentery on the Oregon Trail. Wow. I'm not sure, but Jesus. I don't know what happened.
They didn't even say goodbye. They just went
peace out.
Peace out. Just like they're gone. She gone.
Five guys. It wasn't 5 of them. We made friends with them, and they were part of the Shit Show podcast. So
exactly.
A shout out to the Trail Chasers. Maybe we should have a moment of silence for them.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Mike and Max podcast.
Moment of silence for that.
Max is back in it. He's been interacting with us. Mike fell off the face of the earth, but we did do an interview with Mike that's pretty fucking entertaining. Do you remember the name of the name of that podcast? Do you remember that title, Chris?
It had something to do with poetry or something.
It was Mike's KOH poetry or something. Mike is he's fun. He's great. I miss their podcast, even though they drank Fireball and they thought that was good whiskey.
Right.
And that's fine. At least you guys aren't drinking Coors Light or White Claws. So, but Max has been back on the scene, and we've had him on, and we need to get you back on, Max. The Dirt Drive podcast, we just met those guys.
Yes, we did.
East Coaster. We, I can't remember. I think reached out on IG, and I'm like, dude, you need, if this is your first time, you need to come camp with us. And they did, and we became friends with all of them, and that was awesome. Another YouTube channel, Rec Gear. Bronson and Jess.
Rec Gear. Mm-hmm.
Dude, they were killing it. And I think they were at their, just getting their stride, and they backed out of it. And it's sad because they produced some great hardcore wheeling content.
Oh yeah, they had a 4-wheel steer buggy, and they killed it. Yeah,
they did some great stuff. Their videos were quality. The wrecked rides was great. I think my buggy was the last wrecked rides they did. He filmed it 1 year, and then it was like a year later that we did follow-up footage before he posted it because he was such a perfectionist. I'm like, dude, where's my video? Are you gonna post it? He goes, no, I didn't like how it came out. We gotta redo some stuff, and then we redid it at Hurricane Trail Hero, and the video came out great. By the way, if you want to see my buggy, look up Rec Gear, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. It was pretty cool. We mentioned Taunton Off-Road, and Beat Not Babied. Oh my God. That was like the fucking go-to every morning, see what they're posting.
Howdy, let's get rowdy with Rec Gear was episode 182.
Well, there you go. 182. Yeah. And Beat Not Babied, great. We interviewed him. He took a little hiatus as well. I mean, this shit's tough.
Episode 177 is Beat Not Babied.
There you go. Look at you. Fucking Lorenzo, you're fired. You are fired. Chris is kicking ass right now. So he's like, what? He's putting up his hoofs. Like, what? No, we still love you.
Right.
So, yeah. Another thing, Chris, I got a couple more things on my list, and we're going to put a bow on this because it's past our bedtime. But your rants, you don't do your rants anymore.
Well, we weave them in every once in a while.
I know, but we need more rants. People want your rants.
I could go on about my work rants about work, but that would be counterproductive. So, but yeah, I do enjoy rants, and I mean, it's like, more often than not, my rants would be about driving on the fucking California freeways and stuff. Yeah. And
I'm so glad I'm out of that. And when I go down there, I mean, I honestly am so grateful every day I wake up where I wake up and look at the Sierra Nevada mountains, and there's snow capped still right now. But yeah. I just like, when I know that I don't have to drive through the shit that particular day, but when I have to go down there, I just brace myself. I put on my full body armor.
It's gotten so bad lately. I mean, I leave for work at 3:15 in the morning now just to avoid traffic. But the other day, and this can be a little bit of a rant. I don't even know if it's a rant, but I get on 680 North to head from Dublin, the Dublin interchange up to Walnut Creek. And I usually at that point, traffic's pretty easy. 580s, you can't use cruise control because I don't have adaptive cruise control. So I just bop along. But you get on 680 North, I just set the cruise control to 70 and cruise on up, drinking my coffee, listen to the radio. And dude, I saw this car coming up in my side view mirror. I was, like I said, I'm doing 70 miles an hour. And this car, I see headlights coming up fast, real fast.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's hauling a mail. And it passed me like I was standing still, and it was a Tesla Model Y.
Oh, why? Why?
I just like, holy shit, that dude must have been doing 110 miles an hour.
You didn't even hear him coming.
Didn't you? Just saw his headlights, and then I saw his taillights, and I'm like, "Damn, dude! I don't know what your hurry is, but wow."
Maybe he was headed to the space station. Who knows?
I don't know. Anyway, what else you got?
We got to get some more rants going. Our holiday gift guides.
Oh, those are epic.
Do that episode at the end of the year. I got to give another shout out to Portal Pros, Scott and Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another cool story. Many stories, huge stories of the podcast. But Scott and Matt coming into our camp at KOH with a plastic fucking 3D printed model of this portal. And we're like, all right, cool. And they, again, it's the passion. And they're Cal Poly grads, and they're like, we're going to make portals great again. Not that they were ever bad, but like affordable.
But they were like,
but you're doing comp shit, you're getting Jesse Haynes stuff, and then they're like, we can compete with that. Portals are pretty fucking cool. We want to put these in the hands of the everyday four-wheeler, and we could put portals on your rig, and you could drive your rig from, the Bay Area, Yay area to Rubicon, wheel the Rubicon, and drive it back. How fucking cool is that?
With a mild lift and 37s.
So we followed their journey and documented their journey, and from fucking literally a 3D, prototype to actually selling it and people bolting it on and actually fucking driving on the freeway and wheeling and doing
wheeling.
Great stuff. And then I just got the last thing I have on my list.
What is it?
I think it was one of your highlights too, is getting invited to Shannon Campbell's fucking wedding.
Oh my God. What an epic road trip.
Jesus criminy. Are you kidding me?
Those planes, trains, and automobiles for Jason and Chris without the pillows.
Holy hell. We get the invitation and I go, Chris, we just got invited to Shannon Campbell's wedding. And we're like, what the fuck? Is this a joke or whatever? And yeah, we're responding yes. And we book a flight. We book a hotel. We fly into Arizona.
Phoenix. Sky
Harbor.
The world's friendliest airport.
That's their moniker. Sky Harbor, world's friendliest airport. I call bullshit on that. But anyways, we fly into there. Absolute fucking shit show when we flew in. We were flying in the day of the wedding. And we got a rental car with whatever agency.
Oh, wait, but there's a story there. You got to listen to the whole episode. But
you got to listen to the episode because apparently we weren't in the right line.
Right.
But long story short, Chris ends up renting this car and driving over the speed limit. We were in Mexico going to Arizona. We pull up to the wedding, quote unquote, late, but the wedding was delayed. Thank God. And we're like, get into the seats. Actually saw the entire wedding on the coupe compound there. Super fucking cool. The who's who of the, Shannon's off-road world was there. Bob Sweeney from fucking, Jeepers Jamboree. I mean, the list went on. It was just, I can't even name everybody that was there, but the alcohol was flowing. It was a very fun party. But to get acknowledged, and Shannon and Jess, even after all their partying, are like, oh, it's great to have you guys here, blah, blah. Jason and Chris. And I'm like, how the fuck do you even know us? It just was humbling, right?
Oh,
and
for sure.
Seeing his shop and
crazy.
I mean, let's face it, again, the GOAT of our off-road / Ultra 4 world, to be part of that. And just because we're talking into mics, I'm just going to, tie all this in together, Chris. It's just all the people we met. I am so grateful. And the friendships we made, it's pretty fucking cool. And appreciate each and every one of you listening out there, riding this, wheeling wine and whiskey journey that we got going here. I don't know how much longer we're going to do it. We're going to keep trying. But pretty fucking cool. And just from my heart, I appreciate everybody that's listening and supports us in any way that you do, whether it's just like, hey, you guys are doing great. Hey, I'm going to throw $20 a month at you guys. We love each and every one of you. So to that, Chris, I say cheers.
Cheers and ditto. Yeehaw. All right, man. Well said. And that's truly from the heart from me too. We couldn't do it without your support and your feedback. And having said that, feedback is epic and super important to us. It keeps us fed, keeps us motivated in our own way. And to do that, you can call us at 408-800-5169. Leave a voice message. Again, that's 408-800-5169. Leave a voicemail and we'll play it on the air on future episodes. And we're back. We're back. Took a little bit of a hiatus because of various issues, which we're not going to get into. But and then, of course, you can email Jason at wheelingwinewhiskey.com or me, Chris, at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. Don't forget about the IG, which is at Wheeling Wine Whiskey. And then what else? Our website, wheelingwinewhiskey.com.
Seriously, if you are a fan, and if you're not, that's fine. You just picked up this podcast and listening. Like, these guys are fucking stupid. But if you are a fan, go to our website and just scroll through the episodes page. It's a wild ride.
It's a wild ride, and you can find something that you're interested in. If you're interested in wine, whiskey, wheeling, I mean, we're multi faceted here. We don't focus on just one thing. We're not always just wheeling. We talk about a whole bunch of things. Camping. I mean, do you like camping and RVs? I mean, we talk about technical stuff about those, how to fix them, how to load them, how to unload them, how to crash them, whatever. So, But and then of course buy our merch and represent us when you're out and about in public settings.
And that's I didn't say that, but thanks for bringing that up, Chris. That was one of the moments that really I was taken aback when I saw a complete stranger wearing one of our shirts, our hat, or something merch, or seeing a sticker on something. I mean, for God's sakes, Chris, my neighbor 2 doors up here in Minden, Nevada, posted a picture. He's on his 25th wedding anniversary and posted a picture of our sticker, our Wheeling Wine and Whiskey sticker, on a guardrail in Sardinia, fucking Italy. Are you kidding me? And I'm texting people that I know in Italy, and it's one of our newer stickers.
Isn't that where Dilbert hangs out? Dilbert and Dogbert? Sardinia?
I'm like, how did that sticker make it there? Because I didn't go there. I wish I was there to put it there, but I didn't put it there. My neighbor didn't put it there.
That's
so
weird.
Who put this fucking Wheeling Wine and Whiskey sticker on a guardrail in Sardinia, Italy?
The world may never know.
So it's super cool.
If you did it, call the voicemail line, 408-800-5169.
We will keep you. You could do a pseudo name or something.
You could disguise your voice, put one of those voice.
Yeah, we could put you through a voice. Yeah,
Luke, I am your father.
But I saw this sticker on a guardrail. Anyways, cool shit. Love it, Chris. We are we have a few fans and we appreciate you, and thank you for 7 years, and I'd like to say to here's to 7 more, but I'm out of whiskey, so
I'm out of wine.
Whatever we do,
we're going to call it a night.
All right. Cheers, and with that,
we're out.